going on, everybody? Welcome to a very, very cold and windy St. Joseph, Missouri. I am here at St. Joseph Memorial Park, and I just found out something here that I didn't know. I'm kind of shocked. I was here to visit the grave of Eminem'S father. I just found out that his mother passed away back in 2024, December 2nd, of lung cancer. She's actually here as well. I thought she was cremated with family. But apparently, the final resting place is here as well. Let's find his father first. So here he is, right at the back of the Court of Prayer. This is... No, see, they've got it... This is Eminem'S grandfather, Mathers. Marshall B. and his wife. Because he did not die in 1973. So they were, I explained that to them at the front desk. But this wasn't the right one. Anyway. But this isn't who I was looking for. Which is fine. This is Marshall Mathers' grandfather. Paternal grandfather. And his wife, Ray, 1919, but there's no death date, but I assume possibly she has passed. I went to the front and I asked them about, I said, I know where his grandfather is, and then they sent me here saying he's here. But that's not, no. And there's no picture online of his grave. But he's here somewhere. Now, Eminem did not have a relationship with his father at all. His father abandoned Marshall and his mother when Marshall beat Eminem when he was 1.5 years old. Eminem's father and his mother had a band. They performed at Ramada Inns around this area and a few other states close by. But after a year and a half, for lack of a better term, he bailed on Eminem and his mom. Let me see. Yeah, it's weird. I don't see another Mathers here. Okay. I was surprised that his mother has a headstone here now, and I was surprised that she's in St. Joseph, because they left. They moved to Detroit, famously, of course. Let's see what, let's see if I can find Eminem's mother. Having some trouble with the camera. I am having some trouble with the camera only because it is so cold that it keeps shutting off. Now, I looked up a photograph, found a picture of Debbie Mathers' grave, which I did not know existed until today, until just now. And the only way I could go back to the office and ask, but I'm kind of looking for myself. I think she's out here somewhere on the wall, possibly inside. This is the same background, same color of the marble that I've seen. Now, Nelson was her maiden name, but let's see. Okay, there's plenty here. Eminem and his mom famously had not the greatest relationship. He's mentioned her in numerous songs. I'm going to talk about a couple of them as soon as I find the grave. Not sure. I'm positive this is the only building with this color on it. And so it has to be here. The grave I'm looking for. Here she is. Debbie R. Nelson Mathers. Now, there's no death date. Like I said, she died in 2024. This is her sister, Tanya, and her husband, Leonard. I believe it's her sister, Deweese. So but this is what's listed. And they were kind of at the front desk. They weren't confused. They were very, very helpful, very sweet. But when I said, no, that's the grandfather of Eminem, I said, okay, well, so you're looking for the father. And they knew who he was. They knew who Marshall Mathers was, Eminem. And then they kind of said, okay, no, this is the right one. But it wasn't. But this is, from what I can tell, the final resting place of Debbie Nelson. I'm gonna add that there, right there, nice and not disrupting Miss Brown. It's for her as well. Wow. So for the most part, I believe Eminem was here for the first few years of his life. And then they started moving around. They moved to Savannah, St. Joseph, Missouri, Kansas City, Warren, Michigan, Roseville, Michigan, and then Detroit. Like I said, he did not have a good relationship with his mother, and she had a boyfriend named Fred Samara, and then she had another son, Nathan, who Eminem mentions quite often in his songs. Mentions a brother Nate. A famous home from the cover of the Marshall Mathers LP. That's where they all lived. That's where he lived with his wife Kim, soon-to-be wife Kim. That house burned down after it was damaged by accidental fire that some kids lit in the house. This is about a good 12 years after the album came out. People were going to the house and went inside and were partying. And to this day, I still have a piece of the front steps. I went there after, it was before YouTube, but before it was completely demolished and taken away. So I got parts of the house and the front step that he's sitting on. So Brain Damage, My Name Is, was it Our House, which was an unreleased song. Marshall Mathers, a song from Marshall Mathers LP, one of my favorite songs. And of course, Relapse, he talks about his mom. Relapse is his album for 2009. Insane, I believe on that one too. Of course, famously, 2002, Cleaning Out My Closet. There's another song called The Apple, just on a recent album. Death of Slim Shady. In Evil, he talks about his mom again. Are you proud of me yet, Debbie? But one of my favorite songs by Eminem, probably in my top 5, and I mean, if you haven't guessed already, I'm a pretty huge Eminem fan. He's my favorite artist. Is Headlights. I would say, to people who aren't hip-hop fans or rap fans, listen to that song and watch the video. You will like the song. You will actually love the song, I think. I've played it for people who don't like rap, and they, by the end of it, they're like, wow, that was incredible. And the video is heart-wrenching, and it's about his relationship with his mom, and somewhat his father, too. It's just an incredible song. Very emotional and very, you know what, maybe it's my favorite Eminem song, I don't know. I love it. And really talks a lot about what him and Debbie went through. Because it was them against the world, really. But there we are. Wow. So at the front desk, they were a little confused because they said, oh, he's too old to be Eminem's father. I said, yeah, that's the grandfather. And then they said, then a gentleman came over to the lady that was helping with me, and we were looking at the info I had on my phone. He goes, oh, okay, no, that's his father. Yes, he is here. And they gave me directions right back to the grandfather. So I'm not sure, but I did have a rock for him. I left it for the grandfather. But here is Debbie Nelson, Eminem's mother. No death date put on yet, so that leads me to think, are her ashes possibly with her sister? I think that's her sister, Tanya, Leonard Dewey's Tanya. And then they're going to be placed in there when one of them passes, which hopefully will not be for a very long time. I don't know. And in case you're wondering, Debbie passed of lung cancer. Rest in peace to all the Mathers here. Rest in peace to Debbie Mathers. And, you know, I think if you listen to the music and you, she had done a few interviews, not very many interviews, but, you know, famously sued her son, things like that. She was the inspiration behind a lot of big songs, a lot of big Eminem songs, a lot of songs in the last 25 years that just are all in our, you know, yeah, in our heads, in our. But rest in peace, Debbie Mathers. Okay, I'm gonna listen to Headlights right now. I suggest you do as well. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for watching, everybody. Love you all. Peace out.